AI Mind. Completely AI-generated videos.
What was a big or popular saying when you were a teen?
Oh boy, when I was a teenager, everyone used to say, "That's what she said," to practically everything, regardless of whether or not it actually made sense. Looking back, it was a pretty cringy thing to say, but at the time, we thought we were the height of humor. Of course, now I realize that the phrase can be pretty offensive, so I'm glad we've moved on to better things.
Back when I was a teenager, YOLO was all the rage. It stood for, you only live once, and people would use it as an excuse to do all sorts of crazy and reckless things. Looking back, it's a pretty silly phrase, but I guess it was a reflection of our youthful optimism and desire to live life to the fullest. These days, I try to approach life with a bit more caution, but I still appreciate the sentiment behind YOLO.
When I was a teenager, there was this saying that went, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." It was basically a way of justifying bad behavior or unfairness by saying that it was just the way things were. Looking back, it's kind of a defeatist attitude, and I wish we had been more willing to challenge the status quo instead of just accepting things as they were. But I guess that's just part of growing up and learning to think critically about the world around us.
What do you think of the parents that kick their kids out as soon as they have turned 18 years old?
What do I think of parents who kick their kids out at 18? Well, let's just say that if there were an award for worst parenting practices, they'd be a shoo-in for the trophy. I mean, what kind of heartless monster throws their kid out into the world with nothing but a backpack and a good luck? It's like they are auditioning for a role in a Dickens novel or something. I'm just glad my parents didn't go that route, or I'd probably be living in a cardboard box right now.
Oh man, don't even get me started on parents who kick their kids out at 18. I mean, I get that teenagers can be obnoxious and annoying, but couldn't they at least wait until they turn 21 or something? That way, the kids can at least drown their sorrows legally. But seriously, parents who do that are basically setting their kids up for failure. I mean, let's face it, most 18-year-olds have no idea how to be functioning adults. They are barely past the "I can tie my own shoes" stage.
What do I think of parents who kick their kids out at 18? Well, I think they should be forced to live with their own parents for the rest of their lives, just to see how it feels. I mean, it's one thing to be a tough love parent, but it's another thing entirely to be a "get out of my house, you little punk" parent. It's like they're trying to win a race to see who can be the most heartless. Personally, I'd rather win a race to see who can eat the most ice cream, but to each their own.
What are people's honest first thoughts when you see someone with face tattoos?
My initial reaction upon seeing someone with face tattoos is typically one of admiration for their confidence in making such a bold statement. After all, it's not every day you see someone sporting ink on their face. That said, there's always a small part of me that wonders what they'll do if they ever have a change of heart about their tattoos. Will they invest in a full-time balaclava? Will they spend their life savings on laser removal? The possibilities are endless.
When I encounter someone with face tattoos, my first thoughts are often a mix of curiosity and respect. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to commit to such a bold aesthetic choice. On the other hand, there's a part of me that wonders what kind of person feels compelled to get ink on their face. Do they simply love the art form? Are they trying to make a statement? Or is it possible they just really enjoy the feeling of a needle buzzing against their skin? Who knows?
Upon seeing someone with face tattoos, my immediate reaction is usually a combination of awe and bewilderment. I mean, there's no denying that face tattoos are a major statement piece. And yet, there's a part of me that can't help but wonder what kind of thought process goes into getting them. Do they represent something deeply personal for the wearer? Or are they simply a reflection of their love for body art? Either way, I can't help but respect their commitment to their ink. After all, it takes a special kind of person to rock a spider web on their cheek.
What is an old movie that aged extremely well?
One old movie that has aged extremely well, in my opinion, is The Godfather. Despite being released over 40 years ago, the film still feels incredibly relevant today. The themes of power, family, and loyalty are timeless, and the performances by Marlon Brando and Al Pacino are still as captivating as ever. Plus, who doesn't love a good mafia movie?
When it comes to old movies that have aged exceptionally well, I have to give a shout out to Casablanca. Despite being made over 75 years ago, the film still manages to capture the essence of love, sacrifice, and patriotism. The chemistry between Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman is electric, and the iconic "We'll Always Have Paris" scene still gives me chills. It's a classic for a reason.
For me, an old movie that has aged like a fine wine is The Shawshank Redemption. Despite being released in 1994, the film still feels just as relevant today. Its themes of hope, perseverance, and redemption are timeless, and the performances by Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman are nothing short of iconic. Plus, who doesn't love a good prison escape story? It's a movie that I can watch over and over again and never get tired of.
What childhood movie only gets better as you age?
When it comes to childhood movies that only get better with age, one that immediately comes to mind is The Lion King. As a kid, I adored the catchy tunes and colorful characters, but as an adult, I appreciate the film's deeper themes of responsibility and identity. The circle of life is still as powerful as ever, and Hakuna Matata never fails to put a smile on my face.
For me, a childhood movie that improves with age is The Princess Bride. As a kid, I was enchanted by the swashbuckling adventure and witty humor, but as an adult, I can appreciate the film's clever satire and timeless romance. The chemistry between Kay Elwes and Robin Wright is still as charming as ever, and Inigo Montoya's iconic line, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die," still gives me chills.
One childhood movie that only gets better with age, in my opinion, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. As a kid, I was mesmerized by the whimsical world of candy and adventure, but as an adult, I can appreciate the film's darker themes of greed, entitlement, and redemption. Gene Wilder's performance as Willy Wonka is still as captivating as ever, and the Oompa Loompa songs are just as catchy. The movie's message of the importance of kindness and humility is timeless and resonates with me even more now as an adult.